Hi, I'm Charlotte Davis from Hillary's Floral Design in South Wales, and today I'm going to be making a lovely festive tablescape, including a beautiful Christmas table centrepiece with matching place settings, just like this one. So we're going to start with adding the blue spruce straight onto the table. So we can see if any bits are going to be a bit too long or a bit too in the way. This one I quite like how it's just going over the place setting because it's not encroaching too much. Then I'm going to layer one the other side. And then to this we're going to add another layer of the conifer, all because these are just great foliages to use. Nice colours, beautiful scent, which I think is important to have around the dinner table. And then another layer of spruce, but instead of adding another layer straight on top, we're going to cut some smaller sections and just have these feathered in. So that looks beautiful already on its own, but I love more, so let's add more. Let's add in some of this beautiful eucalyptus, which is a seeded eucalyptus. Adds a lovely texture and flow to the design. And you can use the spruce and conifer base to anchor your stems of eucalyptus to create the framework. A little bit there. And then we're going to add a little bit of skimmia, which brings this little bit of burgundy into the display. And all of this will be perfectly fine the whole of Christmas Day. You could even do it the night before. All of the foliage and flowers that I'm going to use, you can grab from your local florist. I'm going to add in a little bit of olive. I think it's a great foliage to have at Christmas time. It's another texture and another layer that we can add into the design. Let's add in some rosehip berries. One of my favourite types of berries. We're just going to trim them down so you haven't got long woody bits on the end. Just gently push those in. The little short bits we're just going to keep to one side because they're going to become part of something special at the end. I'm going to inject some pink, which sounds controversial, but pink and red is a brilliant colour combination. So I've got this beautiful painted bright cerise eucalyptus, which again you can grab from your florist if you give them the order. I'm going to slot this in just in random places. Not too much because we don't want to overpower the piece with too much pink. It's just an accent colour. That's all the foliages and flowers we're going to lay directly onto the table. To add some fresh flowers, we're going to add in some little bud vases which you might have laying at home. Fill them up with water and then just going to nestle those in with the foliage. You can then add in your flowers. These would be any type of fresh flower that you like. I'm actually going to use beautiful velvety red roses, Grand Prix roses, which I'm going to remove all the leaves and thorns. And I'm also going to take off the guard petals, which are the crinkly ones around the outside of the rose. It no longer needs them. Remove those, and if you want your rose to appear bigger, you can gently blow on it, or you can hold it upside down and give it a gentle twirl. This will help release the petals and increase in your rose size. Then you're going to cut the stem at an angle and slot the rose in to the vase. I like to do my roses at different heights, so you could have one taller than the other, which creates a nice depth and texture. We've also got spray red roses as well. I love over the top, fill the space, get it all in there. Lovely, so all the flowers have been added in. So into the display I'm going to add in some candles just to keep the colour hue of the pinks through to the burgundies running the way through the design. I'm going to add in some taller ones into the centre. This is a great way of continuing your colour hues all the way through the design, so it doesn't become too flat. You need to have all the colours ranging from the light pinks through to the dark crimson reds. Go add him in. It's always important to note, if you're going to use candles and they're going to be lit, always be present in the room, obviously. I love to use Christmas decoration baubles on my table centrepiece. So with your baubles, always place it with your hanging attachment down into the foliage first so you don't see the string. And I'm just going to layer these baubles in amongst the foliage just to add another layer of richness and colourfulness. A few more to add. Okay, so I think we've got enough baubles, flowers and foliage going down the centre of the tablescape. I think now we just need to bring a bit of foliage and flowers into the actual place settings themselves, just to make it more cohesive and anchor the table centre to the place settings. So these little bit of rose hip berries that we had off the larger stems, we're going to use those with a little bit of spruce on each place setting, and we're going to just gently pop it into the bowl with a piece of rose hip laid on top. Obviously only for decoration purposes, it will have to be removed before your first course. And then finally, everyone has their individual name tag so they know where they're sitting on the table. Perfect, and there we go. One tablescape, all complete, ready for Christmas Day.